This podcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute financial advice. Consult with a qualified professional before making any investment decisions.
Welcome to the Wire Broker Edition, the week in real estate, presented in digestible bites. Hold on while our AI hosts take us on another ride through this week's top real estate headlines.
Welcome back, broker owners, to The Wire, your, essential weekly briefing on all things real estate.
That's right. All the shifts, the strategies shaping our industry, so you can stay ahead of the curve.
We've been digging through the latest reports, the news, just to bring you those insights you need.
Absolutely. We're talking major brokerage moves, emerging trends in homes, and how those business models are evolving.
And it's all about your leadership, your bottom line.
So let's unpack this. What are we seeing out there? What's the big picture?
Well, a couple of big themes jumped out at us right away. First, the brokerage landscape, it just keeps consolidating.
Yeah, and the competition, it is fierce out there to gain and hold on to market share.
Definitely. And it's happening at all levels.
Yeah.
You've got the giants at the top and then regional players making moves too.
Right. So it's not just about national dominance. This is everyone trying to figure out their place in the game.
So let's get specific. The T360 Mega 1000 ranking is out and Compass is still number one.
Wow. Still on top.
Yeah. With $231 billion in sales volume. That's huge.
Wow. And what's fueling that?
Well, they've been on an acquisition spree. They brought in at World Properties, the parent company at Properties, Christie's International Real Estate.
Right. Big names.
Yeah. And Ladder & Blum and Parks Real Estate too. So it's real growth by acquisition strategy.
Makes sense. And who's in second place?
Still, anywhere. Advisors with those powerhouse brands like Coldwell Banker Sotheby's International Realty Corcoran.
The classics.
Yeah, they're holding strong at number 2 with $187 billion.
Okay, so those two giants are really solidifying their positions at the top. But you know what else I found interesting?
What's that?
It's the movement further down the list. Like Red, Brown & Williams Real Estate Services in Eastern Kentucky.
Okay, yeah.
They merged with BHGRE Central in West Virginia, and now they're operating as Better Homes and Gardens, Real Estate Red, Brown & Williams.
So a new name and a bigger team.
Exactly. They're close to 150 agents now, and I think this is a smart move for smaller firms. Will they get access to more resources, right? Technology, broader networks, things that are hard to build on your own.
That's a good point, especially in today's market.
Yeah, they specifically said they were excited about getting new tools and systems, things they didn't have before.
So it's like leveling up.
Exactly. And then you have Hightower Heritage Real Estate in the Kansas City Metro. They joined the Jason Mitchell Group.
Interesting. What was behind that move?
Well, it seems like they were drawn to JMG's platform. It's established, it's got a great referral pipeline.
So tapping into a system that's already working.
Exactly. It's all about lead generation these days.
And we can't forget CMC Realty ERA, powered in Atlanta, a woman-led, Hispanic-owned brokerage.
Love to see that.
They affiliated with ERA Real Estate, and their focus is on reaching more diverse communities.
Smart. They're recognizing the power of those niche markets.
Absolutely. So across the board, we're seeing this push for scale resources, a bigger market presence.
Whether it's through these big acquisitions at the top or strategic affiliations, at a regional level.
It's all about finding a way to compete in this market.
And speaking of competition, some of the moves these companies are making are really interesting.
Oh, yeah. The Real Brokerage made a huge jump in the Mega 1000. They went from 10th to 5th.
Wow, that's a big leap.
Yeah, they doubled their sales volume in 2024.
How did they do that?
Well, their cloud-based platform is a big part of it. And they've got this revenue share model.
Revenue share. That's becoming a big trend.
Yeah, so agents earn a share of the revenue generated by the agents they recruit.
So it incentivizes growth within their network.
Exactly. And it seems to be working.
It's definitely shaking things up and putting pressure on traditional brokerages.
And then there's Compass. They're always doing something interesting.
What are they up to now?
They've got this pre-marketing push going on in Seattle.
Pre-marketing. So what is that?
They're encouraging agents to basically find buyers before the listings even hit the MLS.
Oh, wow. So off-market deals.
Yeah, and there are even reports that Compass leadership is saying they'll cover any fines agents get from the Northwest MLS.
That's bold. Are they allowed to do that?
It's definitely pushing the boundaries. Some are even comparing it to prohibition.
Prohibition? How so?
Well, Compass agent said, everybody's already drinking, meaning these off-market deals are already happening. They're just bringing it out in the open.
I see. So challenging the status quo.
Yeah, and it raises questions about, how far brokerages will go to compete.
Makes you think. And, while we're on the topic of competition, we've got the more traditional players making strategic moves too.
Like who?
Well, Michael Saunders Company in Southwest Florida, they promoted Chip Murphy to executive vice president.
Okay, and what's his focus?
He's going to be overseeing strategic growth and their training program.
Interesting. So they're thinking both externally and internally.
Exactly. You can't just focus on bringing in new agents. You have to invest in the ones you have too.
Right. And Christie's International Real Estate Park City, they snagged a top producing team, Jameson Frost and Valen Lindner.
Wow, those are big names.
Yeah, over $1 billion in career sales. They came from Summit Sotheby's International Realty.
So what lured them away?
It seems like Christie's creative promotional strategies were a big draw.
Makes sense in the luxury market. You need to stand out.
Absolutely. And then there's Keller Williams City Views in New Jersey. They welcomed the Nunez Group, a 14-agent team.
Okay, and they've got quite a track record.
Yeah, $2.4 billion in past sales volume.
Impressive. So why do they choose KW?
They cited the collaborative environment and the support system KW offers.
So it's not always about the money.
Right. Sometimes it's about finding a place where you feel valued and supported.
That sense of community can be powerful. And lastly, we have TTR Sotheby's International Realty in D.C.
What did they do?
They brought on Donna Evers, an industry veteran, to bolster their luxury real estate efforts.
Smart move. She's got a lot of experience.
Yeah, so lots of strategic maneuvering happening all over the place.
It's a dynamic market, that's for sure.
Okay, so our first key takeaway here is that the brokerage landscape is incredibly competitive, right? Everyone's consolidating, looking for an edge through different strategies.
From acquisitions to affiliations to new business models and some pretty aggressive tactics.
Exactly. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about how these brokerages are supporting their agents.
Because that's key in this environment, right?
Absolutely. Attracting and retaining talent is crucial. And we're seeing some really interesting developments in how brokerages are doing that.
Like what?
Well, we already talked about the Real brokerage and their revenue share model.
Right.
But XP Realty, another leader in that space, has come up with a new twist on it. It's called the co-sponsor program.
Okay, interesting. Tell me more.
So new agents, they can choose both a primary sponsor and a co-sponsor.
So two mentors, essentially.
Exactly. The idea is to give new recruits more guidance and support.
Makes sense, especially when you're starting out.
Right. And here's the cool part. The co-sponsor can also earn some revenue share, including a fast start bonus.
So it's a win-win.
Exactly. It incentivizes experienced agents to help out, and it creates a more supportive network for the new folks.
I like that.
It's all about building a stronger community within AXP.
Now, beyond revenue share, we're seeing brokerages focus on their overall value proposition.
You know what else can we offer our agents besides just commission splits?
Exactly. And United Real Estate is a good example. They launched this thing called Bullseye Marketplace.
What is that?
It's basically a platform where their agents get access to discounts from different vendors.
Oh, like a perk program?
Yeah, they've got deals on things like Zillow Showcase, DocuSign, even health club memberships.
That's smart. They're looking out for their agents' well-being, too.
Yeah, and they're also really pushing their flat fee model,
Yeah.
Emphasizing that their agents get to keep more of their commission.
Right. That's the big selling point for these flat fee models.
Plus, they're expanding their lead boost platform with specialized programs, so they're really focused on providing the tools for success.
So it's a combination of letting agents keep more of their earnings and giving them the support they need.
Exactly. And we saw how that need for technology played a role in the Red, Brown, and Williams merger, too.
Right. They wanted access to better systems and tools.
And Hightower Heritage also cited cutting-edge technology as a major reason for joining JMG.
It's a consistent theme. Agents want a brokerage that invests in technology and lead generation.
They want to know that the brokerage is committed to their success.
Absolutely. And you know what else we're seeing? A renewed focus on training and mentorship.
Yeah. United Real Estate is launching a free 12-course curriculum on real estate investing.
Wow, that's a great resource.
Yeah, it comes with mentorship, too. And Michael Saunders Company, their new EVP, is also going to be leading their training program.
So they are recognizing that agents need ongoing support and professional development.
Absolutely. So to sum up our second key theme, it's the evolution of brokerage models.
Right. We're seeing innovation and revenue share a big focus on technology and benefits, and this renewed commitment to training and mentorship.
All right, so we've talked about the brokerages now. Let's talk about the home buyers.
Yeah. What are people looking for in a home these days? What are the trends?
Well, the Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate 2025 Home Trends Insights report gives us some great insights.
Okay, lay it on me.
One big takeaway is that home improvement is a major value driver now.
So people are willing to put in some work.
Exactly. Moderate kitchen upgrades, bathroom updates, fresh paint. Those are the top 3 things that boost home value.
So it's not just about buying move-in ready anymore.
Right. Buyers are looking for good bones, but they're open to putting their own stamp on a place.
Especially if it means getting more for their money in the long run.
And that ties into affordability concerns. The report says younger generations are more open to fixer-uppers as first homes.
Interesting. So they're willing to take on some DIY projects.
Out of necessity, really. It's a shift in mindset.
And it means agents need to be ready to have those conversations about renovations.
Right. What's realistic? What are the costs involved? It's a different skill set.
Absolutely. Now, what about design trends? Any insights there?
Yeah, cottagecore and farmhouse styles are still super popular.
The classics.
Yeah, and we're seeing more interest in coastal and nature-inspired elements too.
So people want to feel comfortable and connected to the outdoors.
Exactly. But here's the interesting part. The report highlights some generational differences.
Oh, tell me more.
Well, nearly half of Gen Z, they're into maximalism, bold colors, eclectic designs.
So going all out?
Yeah. While millennials, they tend to prefer sleek, modern minimalism.
Okay, so a pretty big contrast.
Right. And it means agents need to know their target buyer.
You're going to market a home very differently to a Gen Z buyer than to a millennial buyer.
Absolutely. Now, we can't talk about market dynamics without addressing rocket companies.
Right. The elephant in the room?
They acquired Redfin and Mr. Cooper.
This big deal.
Huge. They're creating a full stack housing platform.
So they're controlling everything from the search to the mortgage to the servicing.
And that could have a major impact on the industry. Yeah. Analysts are concerned about the effect on independent mortgage lenders, mortgage brokers, even traditional real estate brokerages.
Because Rocket can potentially generate all those leads within their own system.
Right. It's a powerful position to be in.
So for broker owners, it's a wake-up call. You have to focus on what makes you unique.
What's your value proposition? Is it local expertise, personalized service, a strong agent network?
You have to differentiate yourself.
Absolutely. So our third key theme is this evolving landscape of homebuyer preferences.
Right. The focus on home improvement, the different generational tastes, and the potential disruption from companies like Rocket.
It's a lot to keep up with.
Now, looking back at all this information, was there anything that really surprised you?
Honestly, that Compass pre-marketing strategy in Seattle that really caught my attention.
Yeah, it's a bold move.
They're willing to challenge the MLS rules, and they're even offering to cover fines.
It's like they're saying, we know this is happening anyway, let's just be upfront about it.
And it makes you wonder if we'll see more of that, more tension between brokerages and the MLS.
Especially in those competitive markets.
Definitely something to watch.
So big picture, what's the key takeaway for our broker owner listeners?
Well, I think the message is clear. The industry is changing rapidly and the competition is fierce.
It's not enough to just stay informed. You have to be proactive.
As a broker owner, you need to be aware of the consolidation, the new business models, the evolving needs of home buyers.
Think about how these trends will affect your brokerage, your market.
And be ready to adapt.
Because the ones who are agile and forward-thinking, those are the ones who are going to succeed.
That's a great point. So on that note, we've reached the end of this week's deep dive into the wire.
We hope this analysis has been helpful for you, our valued broker owners.
Remember, staying ahead means understanding how these trends impact your business, your agents.
And we encourage you to keep exploring these themes in your own markets.
What strategies will you use to navigate this evolving landscape and stay competitive?
We'll be back next time on The Wire with more insights and analysis.
Until then, think about this with all this focus on home improvement. How can your agents better connect with those DIY buyers?
It's a growing segment of the market.
Food for thought. Until next time.
Take care, everyone.
If you're interested in your own personalized edition of The Wire, please visit us at thewire.fm/custom. We offer market-specific podcasts with all the latest real estate news and market analysis delivered to you weekly or monthly. Own your market with a personalized edition of The Wire, the week in real estate. Thank you for listening.